Alright, so we got the 3 bolts out of the drive shaft, and I marked it with some white paint. I just have this one left. I figure if I'm here, I might as well just do it now. And these actually have a little star on the inside you could use that tool with. And now we'll pop this off here real quick. Kind of get it out of the way a little bit. That should be fine right there. So there's that. And now the thing I gotta figure out is, do I take this out with a CVT or do I separate it now? But there are some brackets here I won't get out of the way because they have to come off anyway. Especially right here. You got a bracket there that bolts on the back of the engine. And we got one back here near the exhaust, this little funky guy here. I think you can see it, this one here. Gotta get that off. We'll just slowly take pieces apart here until we're down to the nitty gritty. So let me go ahead and get some of this other stuff here off. Alright, we'll go ahead and get this piece off. I got one of the little bolts up on top back here. It's off. And I can feel it's loose already. So we'll go ahead and get these here off. That one. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, so while we're opening up some room now. Alright, so we'll put this off to the side too. I may end up sticking some bolts back in. With that, I'll just lay this with you. I should be able to keep those separated. And now, I guess we'll have to take this bracket here off for this piece here. That's what's holding that on, it looks like. So we'll get that out of the way. And that way you can see a little more in there. Alright, so that bracket's going to stay on. These 2 big bolts here actually bolts into this transfer piece here case. One bolt up there on the top, see that right? Let's see if I can get my finger on it. Right about there. I ain't getting that one. Can't get a wrench up in there. I think you can see it right there. Right about there. Back in there. There's no way I'm getting a wrench on that, so that bracket will stay on there. But I think I can work around it. Wasn't for that, I'd like to take this bracket completely out. That would be just awesome. You know, let me just fiddle around. If I can get this bracket off, then I can get a wrench right here and probably get that bracket off. Because if this comes off, I got a lot of room in here. I can see what else is back there holding this piece on. Because I'd like to unbolt this, take it off, then take the transmission out, the CVT. So, but anyway, let me fiddle around some more. Alright, so this all worked out. So I got this off. I just put some penetrating oil, and this all broke loose. These are just 18s. So I got this little bracket here out of the way. That was right. I think I even have it focused in there. There we go. It's right here. So I got this out of the way, and eventually I got a ratchet. Well, I got a little wrench on here, and I broke it loose, and it started to come loose, and it's almost off. So getting the bolt back in will be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but there it is. It's out, and wow, look, I got a lot more room here now. So cool. So this little guy here, if you hit a swivel, I think you can get to it, but part of this shield is hitting here, and I didn't want to damage it, but I can get it back in and tighten it down good enough. So, oh, alright, so there that is. Alright, before we disassemble this, I forgot, we're going to drain out the oil out of the gear box here. So I think this is kind of different oil. I don't think it's transmission fluid. No, it's now this is probably an 80 weight oil. So we're gonna get that out. You know, it looks like a lot, but you just gotta take your time at it. If I get this gearbox out, it'll be great. You know, if this gearbox is still in, the problem is back here. This piece here could get hung up on something. You know, it kind of sticks out quite a ways, and we just want to worry about the CVT getting it out. But there's 4 bolts on the top and 4 bolts here and a bracket right there, and this thing should come right off from what I have seen so far. So let's let this drain out. Looks like not much in there, but I didn't want to spill it all over me, so let me get this drained out. We'll come back when I get just about the last bolt out, and we'll see if this comes off like I think it should. Alright, so off comes this bracket that holds the back of the gearbox, and it goes to the CVT. So we're getting down there, so we'll put this off to the side. Alright, so we'll get all the bolts out, and there's two back here, but I think one of them I didn't have to take it. No, I had to take it out. It's a big bolt. I'll show you here in a minute. But they all broke loose easy. And I've already got it separated. I just took my hammer and just tapped on the bottom. It shouldn't be too heavy. I should be able to... Whoa, that was easy enough. Oh, wow. That's... Alright, this is how I like to work on things. That was a piece of cake. Yay! Oh, there it is. There's the transmission. Alright. Wow, that makes such a huge difference. Yeah, I would suggest if you have an all-wheel drive, take this out. So much better. And I got a little bit of leakage there, but anyway, let me clean up here real quick. Alright, so here's all the bolts that I took out. Apparently I didn't have to take this one here, this big one out. This one goes right here. This holds the CVT in, but the bolt you got to take out is right here. You can get to it with an extension. Then you'll feel this one, and you think you have to take this one out, but you don't have to. So, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 4, 5. Actually, -1 for this guide pin, and I believe this is a bracket up there that we took off earlier that goes through one of those. So that's all of our bolts. So these are 3 here, 3 on the top, and there's the inside the gear box. Let me go out here, we'll look at this. I can kind of roll out here. Okay. Oh, so here is the pin. And so we got our bolts down here. Yeah, so there's just one bolt you have to take out on the top. That other bolt right here goes into the case. So much easier to take this off like this. So I might be the only guy on YouTube that's actually taken one of these apart for a all-wheel drive. But if you ever have to change this, I'm sure they do go out sometimes. There wasn't enough oil in this. This thing was way low. So yep, there it is. So we'll push this off the side, and I'm so happy to get all this off. And there's a pretty big gear there. Make sure you clean all this up before you put it in. What's really weird, you don't even need a seal here, apparently. Because there's a seal here, and there's a seal in the transmission, so you don't even need any gaskets to put this back together, which is kind of interesting. I would have thought there would have been gaskets for that. So let's go back under here, see if there's anything else that I missed for you. We'll probably stop for tonight. And really, the only other thing I have to do is start seeing what I need to take loose on top. There's a hose right there. Well, I don't need to take that off. That's part of the engine stuff right there. I just start taking off some small stuff and ready to take this out of here. So it's been about a day's worth of work on and off. I'd say about 5 hours. But yeah, a leak right there. I'm not sure what's going on. Looks like a banjo fitting up where it's leaking, but it's probably the gasket there. Cover. Somebody might have changed it up. The timing chain, who knows? I think it's got a timing belt on it. I'm not sure, but I've got a little bit of a leak there. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you shortly. All right, another day, day 2 here, and here's where we're at. Everything underneath is easy access to the bolts through the transmission into the engine. Up here of the CVT, I had to take out a lot of stuff here. A lot of it's over here. It's just shields, the computer, the battery tray, the intake for the air cleaner, stuff like that. Just a whole bunch of stuff here, and I had to spend probably a half hour. But here is the oil cooler. We're down there. I got the unplug for that. Really, the thing I have to do next, well, here is the bolts that hold the CVT up to the motor mount right here. So this is what I had to get into. 2 things I got to do. I've got to take this intake off because there's a starter down there that I think I have to access the torque converter bolts. But this intake has to come off. It's not too big of a deal, but you got to pull it off to even get into the starter. Don't ask me why they designed it that way, but that's just the way it is. it shouldn't be too bad taking it off. So once I get this intake off, I can get in here and I'll have a lot more room. I'll have to pull that starter off, and then I can get into hopefully the torque converter bolts. And I've only got 2 bolts up here holding this CVT transmission in. Then we can lower it, start getting it out of here. But the thing one thing I gotta do, I gotta put a block of wood across here and hold this engine up or support it underneath, because the piece I have that goes from here to here, it's not gonna work because these headlights are in the way. I have this piece that goes across here. It's a metal frame with some hooks on it I bought. It's an engine support, and it will hold the engine up. But I'll figure out something. But other than that, if I can get that taken off there, this intake, and some stuff here, then I'm about ready to drop this out of here. I do have to drain the coolant out of here. There's a petcock right down here on the bottom of the radiator. I gotta go ahead and drain this out a little bit, because when you take this intake off, you gotta unhook a couple small hoses here. But that's where we're at this point. So day 2, let me go ahead and do some stuff here and get this intake off. Hopefully we'll get ready to drop this transmission CVT out. Well, sometimes you gotta just work with what you got. So I got a screwdriver. I push that clamp back a little bit, kind of loosen it up there so we'll drain out, because there's petcock. Yeah, take that out, it just blows everywhere. We're not doing that. I don't want to, I mean, there's not even a place to put a hose on that. You take that petcock out and it just squirts out everywhere. So we're just doing it this way. So, yep, there we go. One way to do it. Alright. Maybe this will help you. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, about 30 minutes later. Got everything ready for this to come off. I just got to take out the intake bolts. One's behind here. I have to use a little ratcheting wrench. I got all the vacuum lines and stuff hooked up. And it should come out. I don't see anything else that would be holding it up. And this turn line here, there's a bolt here. Got that unhooked. Let that come off with it. There's some wires here that if you gotta kind of pull these off. They have these little clips on the back. You can probably just pull them off and then re-straighten them and put them back on, like this one here. I did that one there. So just take your time at it. There's the alternator. Boy, if you need an alternator, now it's time to change it when you take this intake off. So let me go ahead and get the bolts out here, and we'll see how much damage we've done. Hopefully none. Everything seems to be out of the way, so I just got to take this one wire off. Then we'll come back here and see if this comes out. One reason I kind of want to take this off, since this engine has direct injection, I want to make sure the valves, intake valves, are pretty clean. If not, I'll clean them out a little bit there, because you know, fuel doesn't get squirted in on this end, and you get a lot of black deposits and a lot of carbon buildup. So I just want to make sure it's clean. So all right, so you just got to have a lot of patience. Just take your time at it. Don't be in a hurry. All right, well, let's go ahead and see if we can get this out. And I almost forgot to tell you, the tubes, all the intercooler stuff, some of the hoses. Yep, there it is. Just kind of took it all apart, and I put a lot of the bolts, like I said, back in. The intercooler pipe here that comes up, there's a bolt back here, right about here, and a bracket. You take that out, and a bracket on the bottom and a bracket up here on the top, and you can slide the whole intercooler tube charge out. Get that out, and all that. But yep, I've almost got to tell you, that's where all the stuff is. It's over there. All right, now go ahead and finish up here. Get this intake off. All right, so that was pretty loose. All 10mm socket. Ratchet. Now there is one bolt right here. See where my finger is, right down here? Get the camera down here really good for you. Don't forget about this one. You can break this thing right off here and snap the plastic off. There's a hole right there. And you can see it right there. That's part of this intake. So don't break that. And now it's ready to come out. The only thing is something is, seems like a ton. I'm gonna have to use both hands, but I think I got a hose here still hooked up on the bottom. So let me fiddle around, but that wasn't too bad to take off.